Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Say Report. I am your host, Devon Decker, and joining me, my host companion.
Hey guys, it's Sejohn. What's going on?
I'm always so formal. I give my first and last name, but I think that's just because that's the type of person that I am.
Yeah, I just without getting into too much detail, we just did a little recording in which I said my full name, and it felt really weird coming out of my mouth.
The best part is, we're in the past now.
Ooh.
Ooh, the power of recording.
Oh
Speaking of
man,
the past, Sejohn, before we get too far into this week's episode, I'm
gotta
going
get
to
spooky.
sing you a little song.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to sing you a little song, and as soon as you know what this song is from, just ring in with your name and tell me. Are you ready for that?
Okay.
Before that,
Um.
though, I want to see if I can get this on recording. I hope that happened.
Oh, you definitely. It was a good one. That was one for the record.
That was Foley work right there.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be singing now. So in the tradition of the Road 2 movies, now would be a great time to go get a snack or hit the bathroom. Look around you. There are many things to see that some would say could never be. These things I know. It's true and I will tell you so. They
Okay,
are
I don't know
there
what
to
this song is.
see. If you believe, trolls and wizards and fairy kings, birds that talk and
Is
fish
this
that sing, and
is this
if
like
your
from
heart is
Willow? I'm gonna guess this is the theme
true,
from Willow.
you know they'll find you
Val Kilmer sings this to the
too.
baby at some point,
In
right?
every wish and dream and happy home, you will find the kingdom of the
Kingdom of the Gnomes. Oh man, I remember.
gnomes.
I remember now. This was the old cartoon show all about the little gnomes that would ride around the dude in the woods, and they shrunk somebody down, didn't they?
Uh, I, I don't know if that ever happened in that show.
But
Um,
I thought they would ride around in the dude's backpacks, or am I thinking of the koalas? I might be thinking of the
you're thinking
koalas.
of the koalas. They rode around on foxes. David the
Yeah, that's
Gnome,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
what that song is from. That's the intro song to David the Gnome. We referenced it last week. And early this past weekend, as I was driving home, that song jumped into my head, and I sang it. And it was me and my sister in the car, and she had no idea what it was from. Right?
Mm, yeah.
So, I told her, you know what you got to do? You gotta type into YouTube right now. Excuse me. You have to type
Wow.
into YouTube
Speaking
right
of one for
now.
the record, man,
You have to
damn.
type into YouTube right now, David the Gnome opening. And she types in David the Gnome opening, and the first screen is BRB Entertainment with Bob, and Harvey Weinstein.
Oh,
And she's like, and I'm like, no!
no, man. Yeah, that shit ran deep.
Yeah, dude, it ran all the way to David the fucking Gnome.
Yeah, man.
So,
Yeah, we didn't say anything last week, but we were kind of prophetic the week before with talking about some weird stuff with artists and misbehavior. Oh
yeah,
God,
but like David the Gnome, man, like I of course I knew all the Kevin Smith stuff that they'd worked together and like all of that. I knew all of that, but then like to see that David the Gnome, he had his fingers in that.
ah,
Poor phrasing. It like broke my heart. It broke my heart over this weekend, and no is all I could think of.
yeah, man.
So if
Like,
you heard me singing the David the Gnome theme song and you got immediately offended because of his involvement in it, know that there was a reason why, and also know that they worked on David the Gnome, so perhaps not the thing to watch anymore, which is sad because I liked that show, and I live in a gnome home.
yeah. Everybody in Rhode Island lives in a
100%.
gnome home.
Yeah, that's very true, but we have it prominently displayed in our living room. This is a gnome home. It's fun to
Yeah.
say gnome home. But you know what? We didn't really talk about it. We were oddly prophetic about it. I remember coming downstairs, and my parents were watching CBS this morning, and they're talking about Harvey Weinstein. And this is before we had like all the proof and all this. Was like 3 weeks ago, maybe, when like they were first coming out of the woodwork.
Right.
The truth was finally coming to the surface, and they're like, "She's Harvey Weinstein," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's like a sexual predator." Yeah, well-known fact. I'm happy that it's finally coming out. So like, that was my reaction to it. Is that like, yeah, I've heard stories about this guy, and I'm not even really in the industry.
No, but like it's one of those things that would pop up. And like there was always that kind of crap would go down when guys would come out of Hollywood and lost their minds and be like, I could name names if I wanted to, and like obviously it had to be somebody at the top like this, right? Like it all sucks, man. It all sucks.
You know what? It doesn't all suck because a comeuppance has come, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would suck if this stuff were still going on. I mean, it is still going on, right? But this has successfully shaken the batter. I don't know. Stuff is rising to the top finally that has been down for too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my.
It's not even worth a good simile.
No, it's not. It's not. I couldn't think of one A, but B. That was like, this is a guy that like I've always known that they were shitheads, the Weinstein brothers.
Well, right. One of those lists.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But
then it hit me. But then it hit me close to home with David the fucking Gnome, a song that clearly I know all the lyrics to, and you didn't.
Yeah,
know
there's always gonna be that thing when it becomes real for you, and for me, it was thinking about. I mean, for me, it was Good Will Hunting was the big thing when Kevin Smith came out and talked about his thing, and how disappointed he was in not being aware of what was going on and all this stuff. And it just made me realize like how many people were around this dude, like people that I liked, still, like Robin Williams, Matt Damon, like all those guys working with him, Kevin Smith, and thinking that like, that stuff goes on and it makes you upset, man.
Yeah.
But
all right, on to hopefully happier things, right? After casting that dark pallor with a tiny gnome.
But that brings us to why we celebrate Halloween. I don't know what way out of that. There's no way to evacuate from that bit, right? Like
it's not a bit. It's a true statement. I'm very sad that I can't sing David the Gnome anymore.
But like how do you get away from this story, right? Is like that's the next step for everybody involved in this now is to figure out like where we go from here, and that's going to be weird, right? Like things are going to get weird in Hollywood for a little bit. I mean, I don't know. This isn't like industry breaking or anything, but man, like it's got to make you wonder what the next big move is.
And it's already been a shit year for Hollywood, right?
Well, yeah,
just money wise. Like, I mean, not even talking like scandal wise. Hollywood's had a shit year in the cinema, and they're not doing anything there. It's I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be a good restructuring comes out of this, right?
Well, the weird thing for me is going to be like this is an election year, right? And then like in a couple of years we're going to have a big election year, like, and
how is this an election year? What are you talking about?
We have an election year coming up for like 2018, isn't it? Aren't we going to have like Congress elections in 2018?
Yeah, it's 2018, but so this isn't an election year. It's 2017 right now.
Well,
did I sleep through an entire fucking year?
No, but I mean, like, guess what? We're about to start rolling into a year away from another election. Like, starting next month, where the cycle's gonna begin.
Election season starts in November.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
Right.
So let's focus on Halloween. Right. We got 2 more Halloween episodes, and we'll get real about political
enough
shit.
About real scary crap. Let's talk about some fun scary crap, man. Like, I have some Halloween fun for us today.
Oh, do you?
Let me see what I have pulled up here. I believe it is PBS that brings this to us today. Sponsored, not the show, but the segment. Oh my god.
Brought to you by viewers like you, but viewing PBS.
Hey, yeah, does that mean that this is my intellectual property, PBS, since I'm the one that supports you? Oh god. What we are going to do
so many tote bags.
Well, yeah, but that's because I like eat, sleep, and breathe PBS tote bags. Only the finest
I'm
of collectors.
tote bag vampire.
So what we have for you today is PBS has posted just a couple of days ago, the Halloween history quiz. I want to give
a
you some questions
quiz.
about Halloween. These are some actually really interesting questions, though. I will say I took the quiz earlier and I got up in the 85, 86%
Oh,
area.
isn't that great? Not
Mm.
only do I have to answer Halloween quiz questions completely unprepared for it, but now I know where your benchmark is.
Yeah, yep, yep. Now you know where
Happy
the line is.
fucking birthday to me. It's not my birthday, but it's fun to say happy fucking birthday.
Ah. But let's start with a really with a dark one, a deep one, not a dark one, but it's a deep cut, not a dark cut. 1928. 1928. Pink bubblegum that is now known as Double Bubble is invented in Philadelphia by Walter E. Deemer. Why does he make it pink? A. The gum was supposed to be white, but a little red food coloring spills into the batch, turning the gum pink. B. Pink dye was the only color on hand. Or C. The inventor wanted the color to match the interior of the mouth.
I hate you. Because I'm going to go with a little bit of red dye got into the mix. Number A.
I can say with 100% assurity that that was the exact answer that I gave earlier today, and it is incorrect.
He wanted it to match the mouth?
The correct answer is it's the only color he had on hand at the moment.
So the one that I wrote off is clearly not the right answer. Clearly the right answer. I understand how you work now, PBS.
Yeah,
I'm like
PBS,
Maverick.
You want to hear something interesting? This dude was making bubblegum and he only had one color, and that's why it's all pink now. Pink, that's such a weird color to fall on. Well, no, I guess that's why he had it left, right? He didn't use it in anything else, so it's
no, all I have is a pink dye.
Do you think when he was, I think he was German.
But you can't do a German accent. I mean, you can, but I don't want to ruin bubblegum for all the people out there who might be listening.
Bubblegum
Das
Volkswagen
Vidania
the entire regime. But do you think he was going out of his way to create gum as we know it? Was that the plan, or was he trying to do something else? Who imagined that and thought, I'm going to make this substance that you don't ever get to swallow, but your mouth will think it's swallowing?
I imagine it's like Willy Wonka coming up with the everlasting gobstopper, right? It's supposed to be a candy that lasts longer, right? Yeah. So we're spending 5 cents, right? The price of candy has gone up, right? Penny candy is decimated in the year 1927, right?
Yeah.
We are leading up to the stock market crash, right? The first signs of that are in the candy market when penny candy rises from 1 cent to 5. Kids everywhere are upset that they can only get 1 Tootsie Roll instead of the usual 5 with their spending money.
Oh, no.
And along
comes
mad. Mr.
Cats,
Dimer.
dogs living together. It's terrible, yeah.
He decides that he's going to create a taffy, because it was probably a taffy-based product at the time, that lasts longer and creates gum as we know it. Unfortunately, in his laboratory, he only has pink dye.
Yeah, after all of that, I forgot to pick up the damn coloring.
I wanted it to be brown like a Tootsie Roll. I just imagine that Tootsie Rolls is what this guy was working on.
Oh, he was trying to make chocolate Tootsie Rolls, and somehow it just came out as pink gum. Here we go, question number 2.
Oh, great, there's more questions.
Traditional Halloween activity is said to be a forecast for who will wed first. Is it hay rides? Is it carving pumpkins? Or is it bobbing for apples?
Bobbing for apples. Final answer.
It is for sure bobbing for apples. Why would it be carving pumpkins and hay rides?
Oh, she finished her pumpkin first. She's going to get married soon.
Everybody race to empty your pumpkin brains. Those two took a hayride together. Clearly, that means they're going to get married.
I mean,
oh, man. Do you think
usually the hayride comes
tunnel
after the marriage.
Boom. Ha-ha.
That's the tunnel of love in Puritan times, is going on a hayride together.
Yep. Hopefully the horse doesn't break its leg and you two have to hike its way back. Right.
The original haunted hayride actually originated in Salem, but that was because they drove by burning bodies on poles.
Weird through line. All right, question number 3. The jack-o'-lantern originated from a myth in this country.
Oh, fuck. I know who it's from.
Is it A, Ireland? Is it B, England? Or is it C, France?
I believe it's Ireland because it used to be turnips.
It is, in fact. The legend of the jack-o'-lantern stems from an Irish myth about a man named Stingy Jack.
Yep.
Jack tricked the devil, who in turn sent him off into the night with only a piece of burning coal to light his way. Jack then carved out a turnip and put the coal in it, which is said to be roaming the earth ever since. The ghostly image is referred to as the jack-o'-lantern or jack-o'-lantern. It sounds the same, PBS, jack-o'-lantern or jack-o'-lantern. Anyway, pumpkins later replaced turnips when adapted in the United States.
Oh, man.
All right, here we go.
Wait. I would like to go back to the tale of Stingy Jack. Stingy Jack, right? He tricks the devil once, right? He defeats the devil, so the devil punishes him for getting the best of him, like, take this coal and fuck you. And then he beats the devil again. Stingy Jack is who we should be learning about in school.
Yeah, right? Stingy Jack was the man. Oh, God. All right. Question number, what are we on? Four?
Number 4.
1847. Necco wafers are invented by a young English immigrant. Necco is an acronym for what?
New England Candy Company.
New England Candy Company. Final answer.
Yes.
All right. You are incorrect.
No!
It is the New England Confectionery Company.
Fuck you. And fuck conversation hearts. You just Necco wafers that fell into a mold.
Yeah, Necco wafers are kind of the worst.
Oh, you do? No, you get the chocolate wafers, right?
Mm-hmm. I've never had the chocolate wafers. I've always had that nasty not mint.
Oh, dude, you gotta have the chocolate
like
wafers.
Flavored. Like, hey, you want to chew on a cigarette butt? Check this out.
Do you know how good the Necco chocolate wafers are? They come in an entire package, just chocolate wafers.
Oh,
and in addition to, it's like the Mentos strawberry, right? We got Mentos fruit, right? But then we also have one that's just strawberry, because guess what the best Mento is? It's lemon, but people wouldn't want to buy a whole yellow roll.
Oh my God. All right. Number 5. The pumpkin, an autumn favorite for carving or eating, is native to what country?
Ooh.
A, Australia, B, North America, or C, Europe?
I'm going to go with North America because turnips were replaced by pumpkins once the legend of Stingy Jack came to North America.
That's deductive reasoning, my friend. Pumpkins are one of North America's oldest native crops and were essential to Native Americans and early settlers for winter survival. You are correct.
That's why pumpkin pie.
Yeah, that's why pumpkin pie.
And genocide. Oh.
Oh, God! Well, yeah, you're not wrong. All right. Getting close to the end. We're not there yet, but we're close. During World War II, this candy, often seen at Halloween, was a part... You don't have to justify it, dudes. You can just talk about candy.
You know what I love about this quiz? I'm learning while I'm proving my knowledge.
World War II candy, often seen at Halloween. This was part of a soldier's field rations due to its longevity and numerous environmental conditions. Is it A, the Tootsie Roll, B, the Jolly Rancher, or C, the Starburst? Is it a Starburst? Are they all Starbursts? Like, is it plural?
Each Starburst piece is a Starburst, and together in their square roll,
What are
they are Starbursts. But I will go with, just because it's come up so many times before, the Tootsie Roll.
Ooh, the Tootsie Roll. You are correct.
That Tootsie Roll.
Due to the non-perishable nature and resistance to extreme weather, Tootsie Rolls were added to the soldiers' MREs, meals ready to eat.
As like dessert, or is that like,
That's
all right,
dessert,
you're
guys.
going to Normandy, eat your fucking Tootsie Rolls.
You're going to Europe where the finest chocolate is. Here, have this cement chocolate that we've made here in the States.
One day in Philadelphia, of all places, a man will make gum trying to recreate this. What are you, a fucking time traveler, Surgeon?
Yes, things don't go well once we land. All right, here we go. Last question. in its infancy, I might not even give you the choices, but let's see. In its infancy, this celebrated Halloween candy is commonly called, or was commonly called, chicken feed.
Candy corn.
Correct.
Candy corn.
In the beginning, candy corn had no connection to Halloween or even the fall season, but was popular amongst farmers and nicknamed chicken feed because it looks similar to corn. Doesn't it?
It does. I really, you know what I love about candy corn? And this is also, like, we haven't talked about some of my problems with Halloween, but like in more recent years, and we'll get there, every year, and I haven't seen it yet, so like maybe all of the real horrors out in the world will keep this from showing up on my Facebook wall. But now that I've said it, I'm going to see it fucking tomorrow. Is someone who, like, it's called candy corn because if you stack it like this, it looks like corn. Thank you.
What?
Thank you for that. Oh, do you not see that?
No.
All right, so it's people, like, it's like one of those time-lapse videos of a person laying out a circle of candy corn and then laying out a circle on top of it, and they keep going. And because the white at the yellow at the end, it looks like a cob of corn.
Right. But that's the
whole point.
That's the whole point of candy corn.
That's why
yes,
we
they
call
look like
it looks like corn. It's honey
That's
that looks like
ridiculous.
corn.
I hate the internet. Oh my god. That's amazing.
Yeah,
You know why? You know why it got so popular right after World War II is because they had too fucking much of it. They were just like, we made so much of this. What do we do? And they're just like, call it a Halloween treat, and we'll sell millions.
Also, it was very similar to E.T. Initially, the Army had approached the North American Candy Corn Company, or NECA, about putting candy corn into the MREs. And the company began to produce it en masse to put into the MREs, and then along comes Tootsie with his fucking roll and undercuts the price. So we're left with all this goddamn candy corn, or chicken feed.
Yeah. Or the stuff if you stack it that it looks like corn. So you want to know where you landed on your Halloween knowledge?
Well, I got 2 wrong out of 8.
You did real good out of 7. You got 2 wrong out of 7. Yeah, you did real good though. You got 78%.
Oh, fuck you, Sejohn.
Yeah.
Which one did you get that I got wrong?
The only one that I got wrong was that one about the very first question that we asked, and you and I said the same answer.
About the bubble gum?
Coloring of the bubble gum.
I should have let you give me fucking answers for Necco. Is Candy Company even one of the choices?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel less
New
dumb
England,
then.
New England Candy Company was one choice. New England Confectionery Company is the real one. And then I think the last one was like the Never Ending Candy Company or something.
Never-ending candy
God,
gobstoppers.
God, I'm so excited for Halloween candy this year. It's one of my favorite things that retail does. So they always buy too much, and then they sell it all after on the penny. It's amazing.
We got the Halloween candy in the house today. We got Snickers, the Snickers that are just peanut butter and caramel. None of that fucking nougat.
Yeah.
Snickers Extreme. It's called Snickers Extreme.
Of course it is. What a 90s way to go, but that's awesome.
Dude, you know what I love? No, here's my favorite thing about Halloween, right? Since you brought up candy. I loved when I would go out trick-or-treating, creating an evolutionary line of candy.
Oh.
So, like, candy, of course, starts with, if we're going to start this out correctly, right? You start with the basic chocolate bar, right? You start with your Hershey's bar, right?
Okay.
And then along comes nougat, right? So we got the Hershey bar. Along comes nougat. Bam! 3 Muskefucking-Tears.
Right.
And
it's that weird, like, in-between child. Because, like, you like it because it does have 2 things you like, but there's so many candies out there that have more than 2 things you like.
Right. And then, like, years and years go by, and we find caramel. And we're like, this shit, I bet it makes everything good. I bet it could even make a 3 Musketeers enjoyable. Bamf! Milky Way is born.
Yeah. And there it is, man.
And then nuts. Everybody freaking loves nuts, right? But it's hard to eat nuts. If I could have a delivery system for my nuts, well, he's Snickers. What if we put him into a Milky Way bar? Bam, Snickers. And then Snickers are kind of like the pinnacle of candy evolution, and then you have all the offshoots of it. That's where you get like the Snickers with almonds, the Snickers Crispers, the peanut butter Snickers, and the Snickers Extreme, which have evolved past the need for nougat.
Yeah, and then one day on its way home from the Snickers factory, Chocolate gets into a terrible car accident with peanut butter, and suddenly a whole new family is born.
It's fun. It's fun to like. That's like if all right. God damn it. I'm like in a high school kick. And when you listen to the special episode dropping on Thursday, perhaps you'll know why. 9th grade biology class. We had to participate in the science fair. Did you ever have to participate in a science fair?
No. We
Okay.
had a science fair, but it had like 5 kids in it, but they were like super smart, and it was kind of cool to watch.
Yeah. I never got, like, I always watch TV shows, and they do the science fair thing, and I'm like, wow, that's something that really happened to me. But that can't happen for everybody, right? Everybody can't have to do a science fair project.
Right.
So my idea, and I came up with this, I knew about 9th grade I have to do the science fair. So over the summer, I came up with a brilliant science fair topic, right? Because I knew that it needed to be delivered like on the first day of class in our biology class. And my idea for my science fair project was how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Oh,
Right?
man.
Right. Thank you, Sejohn. That's the proper response to that.
That's super cool.
And in addition to that, right, I actually had like started ways to test it, right, by like leaving it in water or something similar to saliva, and like to do it, and like having people lick Tootsie Pops and just record it, so I could like it actually had data, it had science behind it, it had an experiment, it had everything that was required for a fucking science fair project. And Mrs. Z, I won't give her full name, said that it had no scientific merit and not to make a mockery of the project.
Oh, I mean, I'd just be impressed that you were putting that kind of work in and applying the scientific method at that point. I mean, like...
Before I even, like, learned what the scientific method really was.
Right. Like the idea that you're performing an experiment at that point, and this is ignoring that I actually think there's actually scientific merit to talking about, like, the way the human body works and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, like... You could have gotten into like all sorts of weird physics of like friction and things like that. There's so many ways you could have gone with that project that would have given it quote unquote scientific merit. What a ridiculous notion.
Epilogue to this story, right? The National Science Fair winner that year. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Oh man. That is
Not by
upsetting.
Devon Decker. Because my teacher said this has no scientific merit.
Oh my god.
Just
so
like for the
upsetting.
record. But the reason why I bring it up is I feel that candy, in my entire life, candy has been my window into understanding science. Not just the Tootsie Pop thing, but like evolution. I understand and believe in evolution because of looking at fucking candy, and you can see a clear evolutionary through line.
Oh man.
I know
That's perfect though.
right.
Hey man, kids got to learn somehow.
That's exactly it, right? And that day I learned, well, no, I already knew that teachers were idiots. And they do anything they can to assert their authority over somebody who they thought could turn the tide against them.
That's what it was, man. They were just crushing your spirit before you got too popular.
I am actually quite impressed that in all of the attempts to crush my spirit throughout my entire academic career, it never got crushed. Ever.
But that's your superpower, man. Of course, it's like it's the reason they could never defeat you.
Indomitable spirit.
Hey, if we were playing an RPG, that would be a fantastic role for somebody to have, right? Like, he just keeps on going. You're like the plucky kid in an adventure story.
Thank you, Sejohn. That's
Probably,
a real great way to put
probably
it.
vaguely racist back in the 50s, but
Rude. Very rude. But definitely, if this story were written in the 50s, yeah, what you just said.
Oh
Speaking of
man.
vaguely racist, I saw the Lego Ninjago movie over the weekend. Did
Oh
you catch that one?
man. I have not actually gotten to see that one yet, which is disappointing because it's a Lego movie. But I got to tell you, like, I really enjoyed Lego Batman. Like, really enjoyed Lego Batman, and so like I'm still in that. So I didn't miss Ninjago. It just like it didn't stick with me like that. I needed to see it because I was still kind of in the middle of enjoying what you know. So anyway, you
I
saw it, and
definitely don't disagree with you that it was too soon for another Lego movie.
yeah,
2 in a year is too much. They burnt out right there, right? If they were thinking they could franchise this and deliver one yearly, they flew too close to the sun. Because
hmm
I feel like no one really saw the Lego Ninjago movie. And like now, it's like 3-4 weeks removed from when it came out. There were 4 other people in the theater with me and my sister when we saw it.
yeah.
That being said, Lego Ninjago movie, in my opinion, and you know that I had some problems with the Lego Batman movie, is the superior Lego movie.
Okay. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, I am excited to see it. I love the cast, and from what I've seen conceptually from trailers and stuff, it seems like it's really right up my alley. So, like, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad that it did work out. It's just, like I said, it's just not something that I'm seeking right now.
Right, no,
You
and
know,
I don't
yeah.
disagree. I 100% don't disagree. And like I was thinking that while I watched it, but slight spoiler for the Lego Ninjago movie, I was happy that the framing device existed again.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that is what I missed most from Lego Batman.
Well, and you know, there's ways that that framing device comes into play. Like in the climax of Lego Batman, the reason that those other characters exist is simply because of the idea that there is an outside world, right?
Yes.
Right, right. So like it does come into play, but not nearly as much as it did in the Lego movie, and it sounds like in Ninjago.
Yeah. Like Ninjago has that moment where I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is an awesome little story element, and it impressed me because that was when the first Lego movie, going back to the original one, when it like delivered that whole thing, like
Yeah.
what it was, that blew me away because I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, the reveal on that in the Lego movie is one of the best like surprise reveals.
Yeah, and yeah, it was awesome. So then to see them actually go back to that, well, because that's what I was excited for the Batman movie. So when it didn't happen the way that I was hoping for it to happen, and like, because you said like, yeah, there's like that slant influence, right? Like it is still very much a kid would make Alfred another Batman.
Yeah, well, and like one of my favorite jokes in the whole thing is the big climactic moment ends with a click,
Yeah,
not with a bang. Yeah, it was like yeah. So anyway, so it shows up, but it shows up like in the peripherals in that one, right? Like
yeah.
it's not story like important that it's happening on this world.
Plus, I just love Jackie Chan. Like he's had a great
Mhm.
friggin' year, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
Yes.
Foreigner, the Nut Job too.
Yeah, the nut job too, man. That we're gonna have to. I have to do some research on that. We need to talk about some things with the nut
I
job
haven't
because if you
seen
had
it
told
yet.
me,
I can't believe I missed it.
well, if you told me all those years ago when the nut job came out that that movie was eventually gonna get like a sequel and like people were gonna be weirdly excited about it, like not like jumping out of their seats like this is the greatest movie ever, but like more people than I thought were like, yo, they're making another nut job movie. That's so awesome. And I can't really okay.
I was weirdly excited about it because that was like the Nut Job. I saw the trailer and I'm like, this movie looks stupid. But then in my search for 365 movies in 2015, it was on Netflix and I'm like, oh, sweet. This movie's like 100 minutes long.
Yeah, let's
Yes,
do it.
please. I just watched The Godfather Part 3. I could use something light.
Yeah, inconsequential is a good way of describing that movie.
And then but like, yes, it's inconsequential, but I was like really surprised and impressed by what was on display. So it never struck me as odd that people were excited about a sequel, but it did surprise me that a sequel was happening at all.
Yeah. Eh. Oh man. The film industry is a weird animal right now. It's like there's no like there was a time when you could pretty much guess what the next 3 moves were by Hollywood, right? But I don't like the last 20 years has just changed the game completely. I don't know what to expect anymore.
I am right there with you.
I actually legitimately don't know what to expect for Oscar season this year. For like the first time in a long time, I don't think that there's anything that I'm just like, these are the top 10. These are the ones that are going to do it.
Yeah, because like usually by this time there are movies that I've heard about that I am looking forward to seeing, and
Right.
because October is that time where you start to get that semi-award buzz, right? Like October last year, I saw The Accountant, and I'm like, oh, Ben Affleck for Best Picture. Not Best Picture. Ben Affleck for Best Picture.
Ben Affleck, best picture of the year.
No, Ben Affleck Best Actor. Because I loved him in The Accountant.
Yeah.
I was so like blown away by his performance in The Accountant. And then who would have thought that his brother actually walks away with it?
Right.
I mean, anybody who saw Manchester by the Sea. But, because like the second I saw that, I'm like, all right, so he's actually going to win this.
Yeah.
And that was after it had been announced, right? But at the time, like I don't know what we're going to do for our Oscar thing, and I don't know what we're going to talk about. Because the only movie I think I've seen that has any Oscar potential is Wonder Woman.
I have to point out that this was the year Logan came out too.
I understand where you're coming from by citing Logan.
Yeah. Yep. I'm just putting it out there. Like in a year when not much else has impressed us, we should remember that Logan came out in our discussions. That's all.
I mean, Logan is still probably the best movie I saw this year. I will say that, every single friggin' day I remind myself that Logan happened this year. But I just feel like if there's going to be one comic book movie that actually gets the Best Picture nod, I think it'll be Wonder Woman. But then, hold up, Devon. There were 10 slots, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if both of those wound up in there.
Imagine if this is the year when like Hollywood shits the bed and like nerds are able to get their foot in the door.
Because what else is there going to be?
I don't know, man. Like, right now, I don't know.
You mentioned that to me, and it's something I haven't given a lot of thought to movies, period, right? I didn't see anything in September except for E.T. And then what? I saw Home Again 2 weeks ago, which was great. Home Again was a fantastic movie. Love me some Reese Witherspoon and Michael Sheen. Not going to lie about it. Not even sad. And then I saw Ninjago today. And I saw Ninjago because, like, this is my last shot to see it. And I'm going to go see a movie tomorrow. Tomorrow's my first pilgrimage movie of the year up to New Haven.
Nice.
Because Dale saw a trailer for The Florida Project.
Oh, I've heard it's delightful.
Okay, well, nothing else. I know nothing about it. Stop it. Stop your mouth. We'll talk about it next week on the Say Report after I've seen it. But we are going. I am picking her up from work, and we are heading up to New Haven because it is playing in New Haven. And just like every year that I make a pilgrimage to go see a movie in New Haven, it eventually shows up in Rhode Island. I would be 100% okay having seen it already.
Yeah.
That's not one that's going to upset me because I already saw it.
Yeah, maybe this will be the one. Maybe Florida Project will be the underdog this year that just kind of sweeps in, and just because nothing else seems to want to step up.
I had seen Moonlight, right? I had seen Moonlight last year, right? That was an October movie, wasn't it?
It came out limited release, and considering the scene in Providence, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, that's what that stuff was already out there.
Dale and I saw it at the Mystic Luxury Cinema.
Yeah,
we were the only two people in the theater, and we left in tears and said that should win all the awards. Shame it won't. And then La La Land won, but wait.
but what? Yeah, man, the Oscars this year are going to be a weird show with the Weinstein crap and the way the year has gone, and two possible best pictures being comic book movies. Like,
I don't want to be. I'm not saying this for any negative reason. That is going to be what I am going to say right now. But I would not be surprised if, with some of the things that have gone on in Hollywood, Wonder Woman wins because of that.
No, it'll be for other reasons.
It will be for other reasons, but there are also some people who I feel like would give it that sympathy vote. I don't think Leonardo DiCaprio deserved Best Actor for The Revenant. I don't. I feel like it was his Oscar. Like the guy earned
Yeah.
it at
So
this
you mean
time.
it'll be right, but so it's that's exactly it. Is it's time for this for a movie about women to finally get recognized, and if they don't do it this year, when do they do it? Right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not an asterisk next to the win, but it's like an invisible asterisk that like will exist in people's minds, just
Yeah.
on
Well, that'll
some
definitely be part of the
subconscious
conversation.
level.
Yeah, but
But we,
then what we will do is we will remind everybody every week how amazing that movie is.
yeah, no, that's fine. Because it is an amazing movie. It is a movie that that I was excited to see, and that was able to surprise me despite all of the knowledge I have of Wonder Woman. And it's one that I'm excited to watch again. My parents are currently on their way to Hawaii, and my father is excited that Wonder Woman is playing on board the plane. I'm finally going to get to see Wonder Woman, which is good because he's watched Hidden Figures 39 times. It's time for him to fall in love with another movie.
Oh God, awesome stuff,
But
Devon.
speaking on Hollywood, you know what I picked up over the weekend?
What? What did
The
you pick up?
Mummy with Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Oh, and the dream that died with it.
That's like, okay, so coming out tomorrow is The Mummy Demastered. It's by Way Forward. I'm very excited for this game, despite only having heard about it on Friday. But that's fine. That's how Way Forward works, right? Like
Exactly.
if you had prior knowledge to it, that means that you've already played the game.
Yeah.
But it's the Shantae people, and you know I love Shantae, right? Our very first episode was called Shantae Street.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be that Metroid, Castlevania, Contra type style game, right? And it is set in the universe of the Dark Universe Mummy.
Nice.
So Amunet is the villain. The hero of the game works for Jekyll's company that I cannot think of the name of right now because it's fucking ridiculous. Presarian?
Yeah.
It's like something like that. But so I'm excited to buy and play the shit out of that game. Like I am very excited to play that game. And I'm like I need to rewatch The Mummy. So I bought The Mummy. And I love that movie. And I am so sad that, like Dracula Untold before it, it failed to create a Dark Universe franchise of the Universal monsters.
So, so is that your recommendation this week for Halloween stuff? Check out The Mummy. Yeah.
Check out The Mummy. You know, give it a shot. God, just the scene with Russell Crowe in like the hour mark of that movie is incredible.
What's the movie where Will Smith ends up playing the devil?
Winter's Tale.
Yeah, it's like that moment where Will Smith shows up in Winter's Tale, and you're just like, all right, the rest of this movie's out of its mind, but man, this movie, you got to see this. Like,
it's the first scene I watched. I opened up the Blu-ray, I popped it in, and I jumped to that scene because of just how good it was.
Yeah.
And you know, it ties. Oh, it's so good. I don't want to ruin anything of it. Go watch The Mummy. It's at Redbox.
Cool. So I got to on our way out the door here, I've got my Halloween recommendation as well. So forgive me if I go on too long with this, but I've been spending so much time with this game. For right now, for like $3 on PS4, Tomb of the Necrodancer is available, and it's a game that I've been eyeballing for a while. Do you know anything about this game, Devon?
It's the game that can be played with a DDR mat, right?
Yes,
because I did it at PAX East 2 years ago.
It can totally be played with a dance pad. It's got a dance pad mode and everything.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you are a young lady that has fallen into a tomb, and you've been cursed by a character called a Necrodancer. And your curse is you can only move to the music, but you need to get through this dungeon to get down to the bottom to get to the Necrodancer to break the curse. So you have to move to the music, and you have to attack to the music, and then like it's this really awesome like dungeon crawler RPG style thing where like you gain money, you go to the shop, you buy things, but you're dancing the whole time that you're doing this, and it's just like up, down, left, right, down, down, down. It's crazy. And then you start to learn like different weapons do different things, attack in different ways. So you have to dance in different ways in order to like get the weapons to do what you want them to do. And then you have to find chests, and then you buy bigger chests and better chests, and then it builds on itself. And it's insane. And it's only $3. It's normally 15. And like I said, I've been eyeballing it for a while, and I've been kind of like excited about it. And then like a couple of months back, it dropped down to like 99 cents. And I was so ready to buy it, and I don't know why I didn't. I was so mad at myself when I saw that it was $15 again. And I was just like, oh, this is the worst. And then PS4's Halloween sale came out, and I didn't even think about it, but it totally fell in with as a Halloween game because it's all ghosts and goblins down in the dungeons. It's amazing. So that is my big recommendation: is check that out. Throw on headphones the first time you play it, and just experience the whole thing with just the music and everything.
I didn't know it was that cheap. I hate your Sejohn because I had plans. I had video game plans, and then you threw a rock at it.
I don't know if it still is. I might be totally wrong. By the time this comes out, I might be totally wrong.
Well, I'm going to have to check as soon as we're done recording. That's what I have to do. I check during recording, but I share a monitor with my PS4. So I guess, okay, like I mentioned, I have video game plans. I have been playing the shit out of Symphony of the Night. I gave like a drunken howl towards it at the end of last week's episode.
Oh, yeah.
But I would like to give just a little bit of a more sober look at the game, because I beat it 4 times over this past week.
Oh, man, 4 times.
Yes.
Jeez, okay.
And I started speedrunning it, and I'm nowhere near, like, the level of other people who speedrun this game, right? I am not going to glide backwards the whole game in order to cut off, like, precious frames. I can't bring myself to do that.
Man.
I'm happy that I can beat the game in about 90 minutes. Start to finish, both castles.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that.
That's pretty
Sorry
awesome.
that I can't beat it in like 0.08 seconds. By triggering some glitch in the first panel. But if you haven't played Symphony of the Night, the worst part about Symphony of the Night is that it's not available anywhere. Like, the only place that it still exists is Xbox One, Xbox 360 store. I mean, you can get it on your PS3 as a PS1 classic, but, like, it doesn't play as great as it would. And I'm sitting here. Dale just got an Xbox One, right? And
was it never on the Wii through the Nintendo eShop, or no?
I don't believe it ever was.
Man.
I mean, Konami fucked up a lot of that stuff. So if it is, I'll check my Wii and I'll report back next episode. But I'm
just surprised more than anything, like that it's so hard to find. I mean, like, it is the one that everybody talks about. Yeah, but anyway,
it is the one that everybody talks about. The fact that it hasn't been ported forward on PS4 is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, you have this port on Xbox, so like it all exists, right? Change the ones to zeros and put it on PS4. I know that coding is a little bit more involved than that, but like, it can't be that hard to like flip that.
But what
switch.
are we? What are we if not armchair coders and movie makers?
Exactly. But it's just one of those games that I've always enjoyed. So they released it 2007. They released it as part of the Dracula X Chronicles. So I've been playing it on my PSP.
Nice.
And that has been awesome. It's been great. And that first time I played it, I'm like, I don't know. The last time I played it before this recent run, I decided that I wanted to make it as hard on me as possible. So I would only use the first dagger that you find, which is the Basilard.
Nice.
And the reason why it's a fast sword. So
okay.
That's literally all I used to get through the game when I played it like 2 years ago, just for fun. So like, I've taken that Basilard strategy and I have modified it until I can get Chrysogrim in the inverted castle, and then I just fly through the rest of the game. The hardest part of that game for me is killing Shmoos to get them to drop that super overpowered sword that kills bosses in literally 4 seconds.
Oh man.
I love this game, and I've gotten it down to like, it's a game about exploration, right? But if you're just trying to rush from beginning to end with everything, so many things that like I take for granted in Castlevania, I do not pick up now. Like, I don't pick up the thing that identifies the enemies. I don't pick up the thing that tells me how much damage I'm doing. Because, like, those are out of the way. I don't fucking need that.
Yeah, right. Then you don't need that to finish the game, so who gives a shit, right? Yeah.
It's been a fun time. It's been a fun adventure. And if you can find it, if you have the means to play it, definitely play Symphony of the Night. And I didn't even realize, like, if you go back, I got into Aria of Sorrow this year. I had never played any of the other Metroidvania-style ones except for Symphony of the Night. So I got into Aria of Sorrow, and I'm like, it's a fine alternative to Symphony of the Night. Fuck Devon from half a year ago, because he is wrong. Symphony of the Night is the only thing that you should need in your life if you're looking for a good Castlevania game.
Yeah,
and
man.
it makes me that much more excited for Bloodstained. May that come out sometime in our lifetime.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, we'll see if that ever shows up.
That was supposed to come out this year, and it got pushed back to next year. So I'm guessing 2019, right?
Okay. Yeah.
When it comes out, I'll definitely play it because I'm excited because it's supposed to be that sequel to Symphony of the Night that we're all waiting for.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's what I've been doing. But my video game plans going forward, since I'm stopping it, I'm not going to do any more Symphony of the Night. I'm going to try to be strong. I'm going to try to finish Pokemon Sun.
Nice. Yeah, man. We should do some Pokemons. We should talk about that because I have a friend that just got into Moon herself. So yeah,
that'd be fun. I wouldn't mind talking about Pokemon. And then 4 days from now, Super Mario Odyssey comes out.
Yeah, and the world will just stop. Everybody's gonna just stop and play Nintendo again for the first time since the '90s. I'm so excited.
Here is Devon Decker's recommendation. Outside of The Mummy, which go watch The fucking Mummy. It's awesome. Don't believe all the naysayers. Let's somehow on the secondary market convince Universal to continue forward with Bride of Frankenstein, right? We can do it, say reporters. My recommendation is, if you want to play Super Mario Odyssey, go out right now after you finish listening to this on Monday night when it is posted and buy a Nintendo Switch. Because beginning on Friday, it will be hard to get one again.
Yeah, once Odyssey comes out and people can buy the two together, it's going to be a lost cause.
It's going to be gone. It's going to be. I was in a Target over the weekend that had 7 systems, and I'm like, that's crazy. But that's going to be no systems once a game that people actually care about is out again.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my god, it looks so good. Are you doing it? Are you switching up? Do you have a Switch?
Cuphead on the Switch?
No, Cuphead is only Xbox or PC.
Xbox. I couldn't remember the system.
It's terrible.
I knew that it was a PC or a system.
The saddest thing about Cuphead is the fact that it is a Microsoft only game.
Yeah, that's
because it's a game that you should play. Oh my god, play Cuphead. But who has it? Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad that it's on Xbox One.
Oh man! All right, guys. Well, we got tons of recommendations. We talked about some stuff. Hope everyone in Hollywood's safe.
Yeah,
right. Really.
And I hope that everything lands correctly. I hope that. I hope it works out. I really hope it works out because I don't know. Just because we don't think of Hollywood as a job. I was thinking about that because I watched the first episode of SEAL Team with David Boreanaz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we all think that people who are not involved in acting don't think of it as a job, right? David Boreanaz just did 11 years with Bones?
Yeah.
Right? He was on that show for 11 years.
And that was after 8 years with Buffy and Angel.
Yeah.
So in
those two things, right? The guy doesn't take a break.
No.
He doesn't take a breather. He goes right into SEAL Team.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has bills that he has to pay. He needs to treat it like a job.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like people don't think of it like that. And it would suck. Imagine if in your job, imagine if in any job you work, that's the kind of shit you had to deal with. And you were dealing with people who were so powerful, right? Imagine if Gary the fucking night manager was so powerful that if he did that to you, you couldn't mention it because you would be the one punished.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking gross. It's disgusting. I know it seems
is.
like an exotic and a different type of world, but it's basic human rights being trampled upon, and that's disgusting.
Yeah, I know, and it's coming from a place where people feel like they get it feels hypocritical right now. There's a weird hypocritical edge to this whole thing that's gonna spark some anger late down the line. I think. So we'll see how things shake out. That's what I was saying earlier about things are going to change over the next couple of years. We're going to see some things because I don't know, man. This was like he was one of the big dogs, like, and he's down now. He's down.
Yes. Oh. All right. So before we go any further down this rabbit hole, because Sejohn is correct, if you'd like to comment on anything that you've heard today, you can find me on Twitter at Devon D. Decker.
You can find me on Twitter at Siege versus the World.
And if you just want to yell at the show in general, we're at the Say Report.
Yay.
Until next time, I've been Devon Decker.
Hey, I've been Sejohn Sarowik.
William, it's your time to shine.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your host Devon Decker and Sejohn Sarowik. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.